Hi, my name is Howard Mukanda, and this is the lab that I spent a lot of time learning about IT security, and today I'm excited to show you how I have it set up. So right now I was in my Kali Linux machine trying to find out what my Metasploitable machine has to offer. I was just trying to gather some information. I went to my ZenMap and it wants my target IP address. So I will show you. This is my Metasploitable machine. It's a vulnerable machine, and I just did my IPA here. This is my IP address, and I can see that it's 10.10.10.11. That's the IP address. So if I go back to my Kali Linux, we can see that I want to find out what 10.10.10.11 has to offer. If I do an intense scan, I'm just scanning and finding out what's going on this machine. This is called reconnaissance or recon. Then Security Onion should be able to show me what's going on there. If I launch my squirrel, I should see those scans in real life, in real time, right now. Oh my, so I can tell from my Security Onion CM that this is happening. I can see the source IP and the destination IP. I can see the source IP 10.3 to 10.4, and as you can see, suspicious activity is happening. How do you set up this lab? How do you actually learn cybersecurity hands-on in your own house, free of charge, and also in a very safe and secure way? I'm going to show you right now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to IT Security Labs. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your own home cyber range, a lab that will allow you to learn to be a cybersecurity professional at home in a safe and secure environment. This lab will consist of Pearsons, which is going to be our firewall. If you're going to be a professional in the IT field, you need to understand how firewalls work. So this will be our Pearsons firewall. You're going to learn about a CM or a security events and log manager, which is going to be our Security Onion. This is a network security monitoring tool that allows you to actually look at your network, see what's going on, and also learn about the attacks and analyze traffic and triage events. So if you want to be a security analyst, this lab is definitely for you. If you want to be a penetration tester, you should definitely look at this lab as well, because I think it's the ultimate guide. Start with our network diagram. As you can see, this is your computer, a single computer, your own desktop. That's where you'll be hosting this. You're going to virtualize Pearsons, Security Onion, Kali Linux, and you can even have other clients. And to add to that, I'm also going to add Metasploitable, which is not shown here. So what are the system requirements for this lab? What do you need to be able to run this lab? To run this lab, my computer has 24 gigs of RAM, as you can see right here. And in addition to that, 2 drives. I have an SSD, which is running my operating system. Then I also have an external drive D, which is right here, as you can see. External drive D is actually running 2 terabytes storage. You're going to need at least 400 gigs to make this lab work comfortably. If you don't have 400 gigs, you can run just a few of these machines, but you're going to need at least 16 gigs of RAM and at least 400 gigs on your hard drive. If you meet these requirements, we can move on to installing the lab. The thing we're going to need is, let's go ahead and install our Pearsons. So to install Pearsons, go to pearsons.org and download Pearsons. Go to downloads, select AMD64, USB ISO, choose your location, or just hit download. That's all you need to do. I already did that for us. After you download Pearsons, just Google Security Onion, click on the first link, as you can see right here, go to downloads. You want to download the ISO, this one. As you can see, I'm just downloading it right now. After you download Security Onion, let's go ahead and download Metasploitable. 2. I like 2. So to download Metasploitable, you just go to this location right here, this link. I'm going to have it in the description for you to download it. But you just have to enter your information here. It's safe, and once you submit, you can download it. Next, we just need to download our Kali Linux. Kali is the best virtual machine out there that you can download for this lab. Kali allows us to launch attacks at Metasploitable. Metasploitable is so vulnerable that we can practice all of our penetration testing attacks against it and see those in Security Onion in real life, in real time, and also actually be able to exploit them while our firewall is also logging everything. So this is going to be a very exciting lab. So go ahead and just download Kali Linux from here. Search download Kali, you go to downloads. Right there, you can go ahead and download, say, for our purposes, we're going to download the 64-bit VirtualBox. So this will redirect us to offensive security lab site, and from here I want my 64-bit, and you can just download it just like that. Once you're done downloading all 3 components of this lab, you're ready to go. The one thing that I'm not going to show you is how to install VirtualBox, but you can download VirtualBox from virtualbox.org. Download VirtualBox for your system and make sure that you have virtualization enabled. Once you download VirtualBox, run the installer. We're not going to waste time here installing VirtualBox. You should know how to do that. If you don't, there's a lot of guides out there, or otherwise I'll also have it in the link down there. But I downloaded VirtualBox already. From here, go to downloads, find your operating system. Mine is Windows. Download. Once you're done downloading, launch this installer. You're going to launch VirtualBox. That's pretty simple and straightforward. Let's not waste time there. Once you have your VirtualBox installed, this is what it will look like once it's launched. There is your VirtualBox. The first machine that we're going to install, according to our diagram here, is going to be our Pearsons router. I want us to note a few things here. We have 3 interfaces. Pearsons is going to bridge to our computer. This is our computer. A network. This is going to be its LAN. But from Pearsons' sense, that's going to be our WAN, our wide area network. Then we're going to have our LAN, which is going to be our lab network, which is going to be host only. This is very important. It's going to be just this host only network, but Pearsons is going to be servicing that network with DNS, DHCP, and also it's going to be the default gateway for the whole lab. So that's very important here. And because of that, Pearsons is going to have 3 interfaces, and these 3 interfaces are going to be WAN, LAN, and SPAN. What's going to happen in Pearsons is we're going to span traffic that goes here is also going to be mirrored here. That's how we're going to get a copy of all the traffic in this lab into Security Onion for analysis. If you don't get it, we're going to span traffic here. People usually use switches, which are very expensive, and if you are on a budget, or if you just want to virtualize everything, this is how you set up this lab. Then we're going to have Kali Linux here. We're going to have Metasploitable and Windows down here as well. So the first thing is, let's go ahead and install our Pearsons firewall. To do that, let's go to new, name it Pearsons. I can't speak and type at the same time, so I have to look down here as I speak. It's BSD. I'm running a 64-bit. Next, Pearsons doesn't need a lot of resources for this, so just leave it at 1 gig. Create virtual disk, so it's all the defaults that we can find here. Dynamically allocated, sure, 16 gigs, that's enough. Then we just go ahead and right click settings. From here, we want to make sure that our 3 network adapters that I showed you from our network diagram are configured. The SPAN, the LAN, and the WAN up here. So to do that, let's go to networking. This is going to be our WAN. Net is going to be our WAN. So I'm not going to change anything here. I'll just to see that. The next one is going to be just hit enable. It's a host only network because we want our lab to be isolated from your house and everything else. It's host only network. You want to attach it to the host only adapter, the first host only adapter that you can find right there. Promiscuous mode, you want to allow all VMs. This is very important, and hit OK. While we're still at this, let's check our networking. You want to go to network, host network manager. As you can see, I have two adapters here. I have virtual host adapter 1. This is going to be our LAN, like the local area network for the lab. And adapter 2 is just going to be the mirror network. It's going to be a copy of all the lab traffic that passes through the firewall being forwarded to Security Onion. So get that part. And to create these, just hit create and name them. The most important thing for us is we want to disable DHCP from here. We don't want any DHCP to be run from here. We want this DHCP to run in our firewall, which is also our router, which is Pearsons. The reason why we want to do that is because we want to verify that actually Pearsons is the one servicing this network and not these virtual adapters. So uncheck these and we're done. So going back to our Pearsons, the settings that you want under network is net, which is going to just give us access to the internet. Then adapter 2 is going to be our LAN, local area network for the lab, and you want to connect that to host only virtual adapter, the first one. Then the second one, you enable it. This is our mirror adapter that's going to mirror traffic to Security Onion. You also want to make that host only adapter, and this is going to be adapter 2. The only traffic coming here is only all that mirrored traffic from Pearsons to Security Onion. Allow all VMs and OK. So that's all about networking. To install Pearsons, we just go through the normal installation process for Pearsons. We have documentation if you need any further help, but go to storage, attach a live CD, and browse to where your Pearsons installers are. I think mine are in right here in my downloads. This is very simple installation. Once you do that, boot the machine and install Pearsons the normal way. You follow all the defaults. There's no changes that I make here. Which go through its normal boot up process. I'll just use the magic of editing and fast forwarding here so I don't waste your time, but I'll show you all the steps. Accept, install Pearsons, continue, auto. I'm just accepting all the defaults like I said. And there we go. We're just installing our firewall, router, and this is very exciting because if you're going to be an InfoSec professional, you need to understand how firewalls work. Firewall logs are one of the most important things for network administrators. I cannot stress that enough. It saves me a lot of time. I have to look at my firewall logs for a lot of things. If there's any suspicion that there's things happening in your environment, firewall logs are the best. That's why we like Pearsons. As you can see, it doesn't take long. It says it's done. But before we reboot, let's just make sure that we remove the CD because it will try to boot from the live CD again. So just go ahead and remove it. Hit OK. Now we can say yes, go ahead and reboot. Well, now we're just rebooting our Pearsons appliance. It's all set up. There's one more step once we install Pearsons where we have to set up the mirroring process. I'm going to show you that once Pearsons restarts, and also once we install the next OS, because we need to access Pearsons using a web interface. So after our Pearsons reboots, we will see that we get a DHCP IP address from the WAN, and we also get a LAN interface here. Two things that I like to do, just make sure that I have internet access using this Pearsons, is I like to do a ping. So I do 7. Let's just ping Google quick. I can go to the internet. So I know I can ping the internet. Then the next thing I want to make sure is that I like to change the LAN IP address. I don't like 192.168.1.1. That's just me. So I do 2 and 2. Using these options allows us to configure these. So my LAN, I want it to be, say, 10.10.10.10.10.1 instead of 1 and 2. Okay, subnet mask is 24. That's enough IP addresses. Upstream gateway, as you can see, we don't need that. We don't need that. Do I want to enable DHCP online? Of course, yes, I do. The range will be 10.10.10.2 to 10.10.10.254. Because why not? HTTP, sure, yes. So these are just my preference. Enable DHCP right away. Put in IP address that I know, and now I know to access my pfSense I need to go to 10.10.10.1. That's it for our firewall for now. The next part is downloading and installing Kali Linux if you haven't done so. I'm going to download, I'm just going to download the OVA for the sake of this video. Just hit download, and once it's done I'll just import that in our lab. So we're just going to install Security Onion right away, which is going to be very simple and straightforward. If you downloaded the installer from securityonion.org, just do machine new, name it sec onion. I can type and talk, or I don't know. This is going to be Linux. I think this is it's just Ubuntu 64-bit. And let's choose the location for the virtual machine. Let's do other, because I want my Security Onion here, because Security Onion is very demanding in terms of resources and also storage. So I'm just putting it on my external drive right there. Select the folder. As you can see, as far as our RAM is concerned, Security Onion requires a lot. So since I have 16, I'm just going to give it 8 gigs of RAM. Yes, create virtual disk now. VirtualBox image, that's accurate. Dynamically allocated. Next. You see, Security Onion requires a lot, so let's give it 200 gigs. You can do with 100 or even 50, but for my lab I'm giving it 200. Then create. Then let's go ahead and right click and do settings. Now we have to fix the networking. We want to make sure that Security Onion has 2 interfaces. One interface is going to be for mirroring traffic, to get a copy of all the traffic so we can analyzing. Then the other one is going to be our management interface. So if we go to network, first one is going to be host only adapter. This is going to be the virtual Ethernet adapter, first one without a number, which is going to be this one. You want to allow all under promiscuous mode. Then on 2, it's the same idea, host only, but virtual adapter 2. Virtual adapter 2 is our mirror network, like I said earlier. And also allow all. Say OK. Now we can go ahead and install Security Onion in the normal way. Again, if you need any help, there's going to be guides down there. These are the only changes that you need to make to Security Onion before you start the installation. So I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to start the installation right now, but also make sure that at least you understand the changes. Actually, we need to attach let's cancel that. Power off. So before we install Security Onion, we need to go to settings, storage, make sure that we attach our ISO from here. Let's just do a choose virtual disk. Security onion, as you can see right there, I have one, and open. So we made the changes to the network, and now we're just installing security onion. Say OK. Now you can go ahead and power it on. Normal start. I'm downloading my Kali OVA down here as well while I'm doing this, so you can always multitask if your computer is strong enough. Speaking of the computer, let's check. As you can see, by doing this, my CPU is going crazy. I'm recording here, I'm running Sophos, VirtualBox, but I'm still able to do it, but my CPU is getting maxed up. My disk usage is not that bad, so you want to keep an eye on these metrics. But as you can see, I'm recording on this machine, which takes a lot of machine power, and I'm also installing this. So this will tax my machine, but at least I think I can do it. So now we can continue with our security onion installation. Okay, alright, it's going to capture my machine, whatever. Alright, back to our security onion. Once you boot up the machine, that's what you would see. We haven't installed anything yet. You just want to go ahead and say install security onion. Then you can just say continue. And don't choose any of these, just say also continue, and install now. This is going to install security onion in your lab. Quick, continue. Choose your location, otherwise keep continue. This is very important for you to make sure that your location is chosen properly, because you have to correlate your logs. And from here, just do continue, which for me I just say enter. Now let's go ahead and create a user for our lab. My name, L Makonem. I don't like this name for the computer. That's horrible. I want to name it sec onion. Okay, password. Create a password that you will remember. This is very important. A password that you will remember. Yes, of course, require passworded login, and enter. This will take a few minutes. It's copying all your files and all that jazz. This is the normal security onion installation. I'm only showing you this if you haven't done a security onion installation. So I decided while my security onion is installing, I might as well go ahead and import my Kali Linux OVA. So this is just going to run in the background. Check your system resources. As you can see, my CPU is getting close to getting maxed up, but I think I can get away with it because I don't have much on the disk and my memory is still somewhere there. So I'm going to push my system and import my Kali OVA virtual machine while my security onion is installing in the background. This is to save time, so not only this video doesn't take too long, but also for you, so your lab doesn't take too long. So to import Kali, let's go to machine. Actually, no. To import Kali, just go to File, Import Appliance. If we go to our Downloads folder, Kali OVA, you can see it right there. Open. I hope that's it. Then next, the location where I want to import, mine is going to be on my external drive, like I said earlier. So my external drive is drive E. I want it in the VMs folder. Select folder, import, and this should also take a few minutes to import. My import for Kali Linux just finished, it looks like. So let's go ahead and do a normal start for Kali. And the default password and username here is going to be root and Tor, which is okay. So I just imported my Kali virtual machine. I'm getting this error. This is part of creating a lab, so I'm going to show you. It wants me to disable USB 2.0. I think that's the error, so if you can read that, that's not a problem. I'll go to my settings, USB. I'm not enabling any USBs. I don't care about USBs. Now I should be able to start the machine. So normal start. This time I should have better luck. Voila. Okay. Kali Linux is starting for me. So while Security Onion is installing, if you have been following along, I'm going ahead and installing Kali Linux. And sure. And once I'm done with Kali Linux, I'll install the last component to this lab, which is Metasploitable. So what's going to happen is I'm going to use Kali Linux to send attacks to Metasploitable. Then Metasploitable is going to be my vulnerable machine that I'll practice a lot of techniques on. I'll be showing you that. We'll be able to visualize everything in Security Onion, and our Pearsons firewall, we can even go there and also verify the logs. So there we go. Kali started after disabling the USB. So the username is root Tor, the opposite of root, 0s. So as you can see, there is our Kali machine, and we are going to be in business in a minute here. There we go. So Kali machine started. There's a few things that I like to do. I like to play with the display settings and all that, but for the sake of this lab, I'm just going to keep it the way it is right now. Okay, now that we're done with our Kali Linux, as you can see, we just did that while our Security Onion was working on itself. Let's go back to Security Onion. Let's do a show. Say the installation finished. Let's go ahead and restart Security Onion. That's how we install Security Onion. If you want a complete guide that doesn't have pieces like me walking back and forth, I have another video where I show you the complete installation. I'll have it in the description as well, but you can follow through. As you can see, we're just restarting our Security Onion right now. So it wants me to remove the installation media, right? You saw the error right there in the end. So we go to storage, Security Onion. We don't want that anymore. Want to remove the media and say OK. Now if you do show again, we can press enter. We are restarting our Security Onion. Once we restart our Security Onion, we have to sign in with our user and the password that we created. It will tell you, oh, you still need to install your Security Onion, so just do a continue. Yes, let's configure networking. So we put two network interfaces earlier in our discussion on our Security Onion. If you look on our diagram, Security Onion has two network interfaces. This one that goes all the way to the mirror span. This is a copy of network traffic, so this is our mirror port. Then this is the LAN or management interface. So that's what I'm setting up right now. So as you can see, which network interface should be the management? We want the first one, which is going to be our VM. Then the second one, okay, should we use a static, or I just want to use DHCP? The reason why I use this DHCP is because I know that it's actually working, because I know which address range I have set up for DHCP in my Pearsons earlier. So it's complaining about my connection, but that's fine. I'll fix that before it's all done. Then yes, we want to configure our sniff interface, which is the second interface, and say OK. Yes, reboot. So it's going to reboot one more time. So there is a part that I missed. You want to make sure that all your virtual machines after Pearsons are all in the VM network, the host only network. So our Kali that I was just showing you, that we just finished installing, go to network, make sure Kali is actually adapter 1 is not net, but it's host only on the virtual host only adapter network. This is going to get a DHCP IP address from our Pearsons, and then we can just do promiscuous mode. We want to allow all because we're sniffing this traffic, so we say okay. Now we can start our Kali Linux. Our security onion, on the other hand, is still work in progress, right? We need to run the setup for the second time, and we need to enter this really annoying password. I don't know why we do this. Well, I did find out why, and there's a way to fix it. Then it says, welcome security onion, this is what we're going to set up for you. Yes, skip network configuration because we just did that like no less than 10 seconds ago. Yes, continue. You want to make sure that it's in evaluation mode. Okay, so this is the monitor interface, of course we know that. So now we're creating a username that we will use in Kibana. Kibana is our front end interface where we'll see what the logs look like after they've been through Elasticsearch. Okay, so I'm just creating a generic name here and creating a password. Make sure you remember these passwords. And yes, proceed with the changes. So this will apply the changes, and I'll just pause it from here, and once the changes have been applied, I'll show you in the next step. So after restarting security onion, we just have to sign in, and it says the setup has been complete, as you can see. So just say okay, and you can check the status by sudo source status. This is very important actually. We need to run this right away after this is done. So now just want to see the status of those things I just installed, because this is very important for any IT professional there. You need to be able to find out if things are working or if they're not. You don't just show up and go willy-nilly. So I copied that command, and now I just have to run. Okay, so these are the services that I'm talking about. As you can see, I can see that I already have a problem up here. Logstash started, but is still initializing. So Logstash is still initializing. So that's going to be very interesting. If I cannot see any logs in my security onion, it's because of this. So it's a warning, but it's something to keep in mind. So to verify that our security onion is working, let's go ahead and launch our Squirrel. Once Squirrel launches, our username and our password that we created. I cannot type and think at the same time. It's close to impossible. Okay, so it didn't accept that. Let's see if it accepts it this time. I like to select all, start. This is where we spend most of our time looking at real-time events to see what's going on in our lab. As you can see, it looks like our security onion is properly installed. We can see that we have some events here from the default system. Next, we're going to generate some events and actually see if we can see them here from our Kali Linux. So the last component to this lab that is not there is going to be our Metasploitable. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Metasploitable. We'll attack Metasploitable using Kali Linux right here. We should be able to see those logs and those attacks right here in security onion. And our firewall security Pearsons should be able to actually mirror those attacks to security onion, and I'll show you that after we are done installing Metasploitable. You see that we downloaded our Metasploitable. We need to extract this. So we extract all. We're extracting it in this location, and it will result in this right here. Box, do a new name it Metasploitable, whatever name you want. Hit next. I'm not too worried about this, but the next one is use existing virtual hard disk, and let's go ahead and actually do an add. Now we browse our downloads, Metasploitable, Linux, VMDK, open, choose, create. As you can see right there. Now let's take care of our networking quick. Remember we said earlier that our network should only be, we don't want it to be NAT, we want it to be host only adapter, and we want it to be on adapter only this one, and we also want to make sure that it's allow all and OK. Same as for our Kali, you want to make sure that our networking also only adapter, as you can see right there. Let's check. Security Onion should have 2 adapters. Settings, network, also only adapter 1, and the mirror adapter 2, so that's good. Pearsons should have 3. The WAN adapter, which is NAT, allow all as well. Adapter 2, allow all. This is our lab adapter and our mirror adapter. So it looks like we have all the machines that we need. This is the ultimate home lab if you want to learn IT security. I cannot stress this enough. You will learn a lot from this lab. So let's go ahead and fire up Metasploitable. I'm going to show you how this looks like in Security Onion. Just a glimpse of what it looks like when I'm using Kali Linux to attack Metasploit, and Security Onion is getting a copy of that traffic. So I'm just starting my Metasploit machine right now. As you can see, it's just loading. We don't do much to this machine. It's a vulnerable machine. It's very, very vulnerable. The only thing we do is attack this machine. We attack and learn about all the different attacks. I'll be covering all those attacks in this series on my channel. So if you haven't subscribed by now, make sure you remember to subscribe, like this video. I'll be showing you how to use this to learn all the details that you need about network security, penetration testing, and all the good stuff. It's 10.10.10.1, and you want to go to admin, and you want to go to Pearsons, and this will take you through the initial setup, which we will hostname, Pearsons is sure, local domain, or we can say that's a domain, local. Okay. Actually, let's use our domain DNS as 10.10.10.1. The secondary is Google. Next. Sure. And we want to allow the HTTP server there. And from here we just want to verify that everything is okay. We don't want to block the private ones on the WAN because we are already inside a private network, so you don't want to do that. Then we just create a new password here. Then let's reload our Pearsons. And finish. So the next part to Pearsons is we just need to span the traffic. This is the most important configuration. So if you go to interface assignments, see we have our WAN and LAN. We need to add another one. This one right here. We just enable that interface, call it span. This is what's going to mirror our LAN interface traffic, all of it, to security onion. So we don't need any of that. We just need to name it and enable it and apply. So after that, we just go to our firewall. Actually, go back to our interface. If you go to bridges, you want to create one bridge, and the member interface, we're only going to put LAN, and let's call this span to LAN. Okay, if you go advanced, span port, that's when we choose the span, and that's it. That's all we have to do to span the traffic from LAN to WAN in our diagram right here. A copy of the traffic that's going here is going to be sent here. That's all we have to do in security onion, in Pearsons, and we're done. Now if we go back to our metasploitable, let's find out what this guy is up to. What is the IP address that we have here? Okay, so it's show one more time. Come on, wake up. Okay, IP address for metasploitable is 10.10.10.4. So we know that Metasploit is connected to our Pearsons for sure. If we go to our Kali and do a show, now in our Kali machine, if we just run in nmap scan, just a recon 10.10.10.4, we just want to find out what's going on Metasploitable. This is like an attack, pretty much. We're just trying to find out. As you can see, we're discovering a lot of ports. Let's go to our security onion and see if it will show what's going on there. So if we launch our Squirrel quick, Squirrel should be able to see this traffic. I just want to select all, start it. As you can see, oh my goodness. So source IP is 10.10.3, which is our Kali Linux, going to 10.10.4, which is a potential VNC scan. This is just an enumeration scan. So as you can see, the lab works. We are now able to mirror traffic from our machines, from Kali Linux attacking Metasploit. It's all going to security onion, and there's a lot of things that we can do in this lab that I'll be able to show you in this series. But as you can see from here, we can see all this traffic. It's amazing that we can see that. Let's check our Squirt, make sure that at least Squirt can see all the same traffic. As you can see, we can also see the same suspicious port scans coming from security onion to Kali Linux. From Kali Linux to security onion. So this is the ultimate home lab for anyone who wishes to learn IT security. I'll be showing you a lot of attacks. I'll be showing you a lot of simulations in my lab